Hey everyone, a short intro and then on to the first show of 2025. I need your help. Take a minute, go to the Ministry of Freedom Show YouTube channel and subscribe. No, really, right now. Subscribe. And if you aren't a subscriber, you are banned from the show. Well, not really, but it sure would help us out. Also, take some time today to check out the new website, jimmotes.com. There you'll see even more of me, but the good news is there's a lot of Allie on there too, which makes up for it. And on the site, I have links to join our online community, Building and Becoming, for free. Yep, click the link, take advantage of the generous trial period, and jumpstart your new year with other cool people who want to grow. Okay, on to the show. Today, I welcome a spiritual savage, Jerry Johnson. Jerry's a husband, father, entrepreneur, Christ follower, and an unapologetic dude who speaks the truth. We have a dynamic conversation about authentic manhood, the church, and more. This is a show I'm asking you to share because you are either a man or you have some men in your lives who need this message. Please enjoy episode 65 of the Ministry of Freedom Show. Now it says recording, brother. We're in. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Everyone, this is our man, Jerry Johnson. Been trying to get Jerry on the show for how many months now?
Made the promise at least 2 months ago.
Yeah. And I think I've been trying even longer than that. Maybe I didn't have the courage to come out and ask you yet. But no, this is great. I'm super honored that you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun. We reconnected in a pretty good way a couple of months ago.
Yep.
And I went over to your house to a men's group that you have on Saturday mornings. And man, it was amazing. And that reminded me, I'm like, that's why I love this dude, because you and I line up on a lot of the same kind of stuff. It's pretty cool because I thought of you. I did a show called Fuel Your Legacy with a guy named Sam Knickerbocker. It won't come out for a few weeks, but I recorded that podcast with him a couple days ago. And his first question was, because he did pretty good research, he had my book and stuff. And he says, it says here that you're a guy that is a Christian, but is unapologetically in people's faces. And I thought, well, I certainly didn't write that about myself. But he says, how do you reconcile that? I said, I reconcile it because I don't know any other way that we should be doing it.
Yeah, I love it. We say in our family, we want to be courageous.
That's good. Yeah. So I just told the guy, I said, how else would you do it, bro?
Right.
I mean, you got to put your phony hat on if you call yourself a Christian. And I told him this, I said, I didn't even know Christ till I was 31 years old. So I had 31 years of personality. That didn't go away. Jesus gave me that personality.
And you know what? When you have all those trials and tribulations, even though they're worldly, you still pull back on, still use those for his glory.
Yeah.
You don't take those great teaching moments back.
You don't. And you also, when you come to Christ, you're not scar free. You still have them. It's your inner wounds, though, certainly are healed. And I think those things, we need to carry that stuff because there's too much of, I have to be cleaned up if I can come to you and disciple you, or you need to get your act together before you come to church. And that's just, I'm not about that. Let's go as when we're messy, man.
Yeah, I love that. I love to talk about how I remind people when they go to church and they go, oh, they're hypocrites. And I go, whoa, wait. What the church could be accused of is worrying about taking all that garbage that we leave and trying to shovel it and get rid of it, when what they ought to do is pile it up in the right where we park and have it where it's in your way so you can climb it and say, Lord, thank you for this advantage point where I can see where you would send me. Because I see clearer by standing on top of it.
Same, man.
Instead of trying to move it. It's because it's messy. You don't need to move it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is messy. And if we're waiting to change our lives until our lives are changed, I can't understand how that thinking works. It's like, I've said this before too. On the show, I've got people that it seems like they're telling me, I've had pneumonia for a couple of weeks. I don't want to go to the doctor until my lungs are cleared up. What are we talking about?
Right.
Let's just get in there. Let's get her. And I'm not even talking about, I was talking about church just then, but I'm just talking about getting around other men. Getting around men is, man, for me, way more effective than here, and I like taking the family to church on Sunday, and that is what it is. And I like worshiping together and that type of stuff. But man, the real meat and potatoes, the growth that I've experienced, the fellowship, the togetherness, the true discipleship is either one-on-one or in a small group of dudes.
Yeah. That's so good. I think I said something to you when we were at our house and you said, Brother, that's exactly right. When I said church starts the hour we leave the building and it ends when we walk in. And what we're really doing is working out our spiritual,
Yeah.
it's like checking in with your
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
But church is every minute we're out of
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah.
We need to be bringing it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Man.
I think we
Good.
forget that.
You're right. You listen to the show a little bit. I hope, I throw some scripture in I try to throw scripture in each show. So I asked you for a couple scriptures, man. Here's where you came with the fire. So I'm going to start with Proverbs 13:16. You ready? Every prudent man acts with knowledge, but a fool flaunts his folly. Foolish people are so blind to their own error that they shamelessly brag about it. They are bold in proclaiming their erroneous viewpoints and even bolder in carrying them out. Boldness is no more fitting for a fool than jewels are fitting for a hog.
That
Dude,
describes who I was before I knew Jesus.
same, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I used to say that before I met Christ, I was positive I was smarter and better than everybody I met. After Christ came into my heart, I'm convinced I am so humble that I feel like I'm the total opposite of that in every room that I'm in.
Exactly.
And that's been amazing to me. That part of the transformation has been great. I have a confidence that comes from the Lord, but the bravado part's gone.
Yeah.
The false bravado stuff that a lot of dudes walk around with, that is just it's just a suit. It's just crap.
You say it so well. If you're not getting with dudes and able to unpack some of the stuff, like God did create men to be courageous protectors, providers. That doesn't mean we use that to abuse people that don't think the way we are.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that we take that to the church and start demanding things. One of the things that happened from our men's group after, our Saturday morning group, after the COVID incident, where COVID said, you can stay home, you can watch it online. And a dear brother of mine came to him and said, man, I'm hurting. Let's get together. So we got together outside and we started keeping some notes about what we wanted to do. But one of the most important things when we went back, we said, man, we want to go back to the church and be the floor that the leaders of the church can stand on. We'll use our truth, right, to raise them up, not to be over them and demand what the world was doing. Remember, the world was saying, church, you need to stand up and don't let them tell you can't get together. And I understood that, how that framed us.
Yeah.
But some of those same people weren't doing anything when they weren't there.
Yeah.
So it's like you were fighting for your right, not God's right.
Yeah.
And as men, we need to say, Lord, I just want to do your will.
Yeah.
But yes, I am a protector and a provider and a slayer of evil one and the dark side, but not to abuse people.
Yeah.
And I know you and I have talked about this. How do we reach people if we're actually making fun of them? And I got to tell you, it was really hard during this election. A little bit of me was prideful.
Yeah.
I liked hearing a little bit of the other side that didn't support what I supported, struggling a little bit. And I had to pray that away.
I did too.
God loves those people.
He does. I
don't want to get so political, but
I like being political. It's part of the show because it's part of me. I regret, I don't even like that word. I don't feel great about some of the posts I initially made, right, the day after the election. And I got in a couple online, which is so stupid, online arguments with some folks. And I would tell you to this day, it's just some of the stuff I was reading that was directed at me was nonsensical, but it's their reality and they are hurting. Yeah. And so I have a tough time with empathy when someone's hurting. If the reasons they're hurting, they don't feel valid to me. And that's wrong because they're still in pain. Yeah. Right. And so I think we're not going to go anywhere as a nation until we can put that stuff behind us. And as men of God, I guess we're going to have to be the first. We're going to have to lay that stuff down first. It can't be, well, I'll stop when they stop, because they're not going to stop. And we need to be responsible for our own actions and how we're responding to people, even if they keep coming at us. But you know what? Okay, we should be getting built up in the physical and in the spiritual and in the emotional and financial. We should be getting built up in every way so we can take more of those blows. Right. They're not really injuring us, are they? No. They're not even hurting us. What they are is they're just, if we're offended, that's our choice.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have a spirit of offense.
For sure. For sure. And so I've just let that stuff go, and I'm not doing that anymore. And
that's good. You need balance. You don't have to agree with the other side, but I would say this, in our family, we say, if you're going to believe something, believe it wholeheartedly. Don't be like Revelation and come weak and
lukewarm, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
We spat on the ground.
No place for it. No place.
Bring it, and we can lovingly agree to disagree.
Yeah, man.
Because if we all did the right side, and I'm not talking about Christ and Christianity, because that is the right way. That is the truth and the light. But I'm talking about the things that man Caesar's stuff that we also have to deal with. We would not be successful. We would also be out of balance.
Yeah.
We need balance.
Yeah. Balance is something that is a real struggle for me. People say, you just need more balance in your life. I'm like, balance is for the weak. I used to say balance is for the weak. Balance isn't for the weak. That's another one of the, man, I carried all these adages around, and I'm not talking about me 30 years ago. I'm talking about me as a Christian dude.
Yeah.
I was carrying that stuff around, balance. But no, you're a couple years older than me. And
maybe
as we get older, man, I think you are, man. Yeah. So just a couple years, but man, we should still be evolving and growing. And so many dudes our age are just like, well, that stopped a long time ago. This is when it needs to go like that.
Yeah.
So when you talk about getting older, people are looking at me funny because I tell them I just turned 53 a couple weeks ago. I'm like, man, I love this age and this season of life. I love getting older. They're like, why would you love getting older? Well, because I'm on a path of trajectory pointed like this. So if it's pointed like this, even a little bit, each day and year, I should be getting wiser, closer to Christ, a better partner, a better friend, a better disciple, wealthier, healthier, more value to the community.
Right.
That's why getting older is exciting if you're on the path.
That's right. Yeah.
And
resisting passivity.
That's it, man. Yeah. So we talk about authentic manhood, and I titled the episode Authentic Manhood because I think of authentic manhood, you come to mind immediately. And we talk about, there was 4 pillars of that we taught in our men's group. So I won't cheat. I'm gonna rattle them off. You ready? Yep. So we reject passivity, we accept responsibility, we lead courageously, and we expect God's greater reward.
That's right.
Yeah. That last one is the interesting one, right?
That is the one.
Yeah.
Really, people go, well, wait a minute. Expecting God's greatest reward. Shouldn't I be humble and meek? No, he's a God of greatness. And he created you to be all of those things. And God's greatest reward isn't always in gifts. It's meaning at the end, he will be victorious. And in spite of even you missing some of the marks, he will reign.
That's exactly right. And then as I've prayed through that, because I was taught this years ago, and I still pray through that, especially that 4th pillar. And it's crazy because you have a business called Pillar. So
that's where,
that just clicked in my head. That's a duh moment for me.
2 of them.
We'll get to that. Yeah. But I think to myself, God's greater reward. Wait a minute. It's God. Mm-hmm. The greater reward is him. And even in the muck and even in the things that I'm not getting the right answers that I want in prayer, I'm still receiving his reward because he's given me him. And he's given me the promise that whatever it is going to work out for my good. And he's given me him. So, man, I'm starting to figure the 4th one out a little bit.
That was hard. When we learned that? 7, 8, 10 years ago?
Oh, it's more than that, dude. I sat in that upstairs room at Lifegate Church in 2008 and learned that. So we're 17 years ago.
I still have that teaching right by my bed.
Yeah. Lee Peterson handed us out this manila colored, it was on like card stock. Yep. Yeah. It has a 2-sided deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
some of that was, I took a picture of it and copied that over. I thought,
so good.
My heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's good stuff. I love that scripture, dude.
Yeah.
That foolish people are so blind to their own error, they brag about it. It's like, I did that. Think of how many times as a young guy, you got all the bravado and stuff, and you're talking about, I drank 20 beers, and you're bragging about foolishness. Or, I was with such and such a girl, and you're bragging about foolish behavior, and what are we doing? We didn't even know enough in our prior life to shut up about the stuff we were doing. We thought it was a badge of honor.
Yeah, we the male pecking order, right? Because if you're 2 or 3 years old, you know that boys will, and girls, but boys will want to be the hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
Be higher than the other. Why that's so important is just the season we're coming into right now. We have such a great opportunity to bring the church to those who have turned it for a false teaching, for a false understanding of what it really means. And we don't need to get into all of that, but there is a whole group of people that believe the church hates them. And as Christians, we can't be fools. We can't start flaunting and saying, or even appreciating a little bit of their hurt and suffering.
Yeah.
That's Christ will, right? He loves them just as much as he loves us. And if we use that approach, how are we going to ever be Christ to them? How are we ever going to show it?
Yeah.
If we're standing on one side, it reminds me now of the emotional picket lines that we've all watched on the AI, right? We've watched the people yell at each other and want to rip their signs down. I just want them all to know that Jesus loves you and he came for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sign, holding that sign that says Jesus loves you and he's for you, that shouldn't be on a side. No. That should be the most universal, and not even it. You don't have to accept that that's true, but to have a hatred when you read that, that's the part. I never had a hatred, even when I didn't know Jesus. If someone would tell me that, I wouldn't be like, don't say that. I'd be like, have a hard time believing that right now. But thank you for caring enough to share it with me.
That was good, because the absence of joy is anger.
Yeah.
Or what's the absence of peace? It's distress, or there's many words that you can call it.
So anxiety,
fear. Opposite of fear is trust, and all the good is Jesus.
Yeah,
we're being lied to. Our brothers and sisters who do not think the same way, they're being lied to.
Yeah,
and that's the mission. Without accepting, right?
Yeah,
walking that line, and man, it's a struggle every day. When I wake up, my prayer is, well, first I say, Lord, thank you for another day.
Yeah, here we go. Thanks that I'm up.
Lord, send me someone today that doesn't know you, and may my mind be open to seeing and my heart be willing to share the good news at all cost.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah. I pray for the intersections.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And I'm looking for them.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, okay, is it at the gas station? Is it, where's it? Is it at Hy-Vee? Where's the next intersection,
Because it drives you. You're built that way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I have these, I call them dang it moments with God. Hey everyone, Jim here. Thank you for watching the video. As a way to show my appreciation, I wanted to get you a free PDF of all 7 non-negotiables and the first week's morning devotionals from my latest book, Suck Cycle. I'm going to shoot those right over to you as soon as you text the word devotion to 402-250-7499. Thanks again, and back to the video. Where he prompts me to do something or say something that I'm like, God, dang it. I don't know. Dang it. I got to do it. So the other day, and it's chilly out and stuff, and I'm speaking of Hy-Vee, I'm in Hy-Vee's parking lot, and I'm getting ready I get my groceries, I'm getting ready to leave, I'm pulling out of the lot, and there's this couple, and they're an older couple, and I'm 53, so when I say older, they're probably 70, 75 years old, and they've got this huge extended cart thing, trying to get this piece of furniture into the back of their SUV. Yeah. So I look over at them and it's like, dang it. So I look over to my left. They're happy. This is right at the end of the aisle, closest to the store. There happens to be one open parking spot. I'm like, okay, that must be made for me. So I pull my car in, I get out, and I said, I'm here to help you.
Oh, that's good.
And they're like, what? I said, yeah, got an open spot right there. I just wanted to pull in and help you. What? Okay. So, we figured it out, and it wasn't super heavy, thank goodness. But I thought, I got back in the car after that, and I'm like, God, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you that because I'm a knucklehead, and I'm like, well, good luck. It's chilly, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do that. And that's not me. if I'm being super honest with you and the audience, that's not me. That I'm leaving the house going, let me look for somebody to help with furniture. But when I see it, I can't help it. And that's the stuff that's in here. That's the stuff we need to share with the world. You know what I didn't do is get out of the car and say, are you Christians? No,
Right.
You're human, right? And you're struggling getting some furniture in a car. Exactly. I didn't look for bumper stickers, right? In fact, they're in a Subaru. So I don't know. I could have made an inference that maybe, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to help them. They're humans and they're trying to get furniture in their car. That's what we need to get back to. Who gives it? You know what?
Yeah. Yeah. When you think about how people that voted maybe different than me, I think I'm sure I earned a lot of the way they feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't walked that way. We're being exposed. We're being rubbed raw a little bit.
You're right.
We are, and we justifiably. And you know what? Thank you, Lord, for loving me enough.
Yeah.
To not leave me where you find me.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good God.
Whew, I needed this talk today, man. I'll tell you what, if we would have done this without hitting record, I'd be like, wow, this is good because this really helped me. Yeah, I did. Yeah, this thing's telling me we're recording, so we're going to cross our fingers. You sent me 2 scriptures, so the audience gets double today. So you ready?
Yeah.
Proverbs 28:1. Let's check this one out. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. The righteous are bold because they know that God is for them and what they have to say is important.
Yeah.
Whoa. I want to think on this.
Mm-hmm.
The righteous are bold because they know God is for them. So let's unpack that part of it. I'm righteous, but you know what? It's not because I do good or I am good or any of that. And if I'm wrong on any of this, that's from a theological perspective, you beat me up on it, call me on it. I believe that I'm righteous because of the spilled blood, the atonement at the cross. That blood covers me, and now I am righteous in the sight of Christ. And that's where the boldness, any boldness that I have, comes from that fact, because I'm more humble now than any point in my life, but I also feel at the same time I have a boldness that I haven't walked with before.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's well said. We in our boldness, it's not abuse.
Yeah.
In our boldness, we turn it into a blessing. And righteous, well, it would be no different than when I'm having a conversation with someone and they're rebuking the Bible, which is a quote from YouTube. I'm like, well, have you read it? I have. Have you opened or known someone with the Torah and opened that up, and found someone to do some of the teachings from it? Have you, and I don't want to go on and on, but Nancy and I have tried to do a study on other religion, or at least seek and
to understand
a perspective so we can speak in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone doesn't understand or hasn't taken the time to know, then really what it becomes is a feeling and an emotion. And how easy is it as a Christian to become a feeling, emotion, and going, you don't know how good God is, and so now I'm going to defend him. Really doesn't need defense.
Yeah. I like it when I'll have a conversation with somebody, and it's normally somebody that's hurting or looking for some change in their life, and that's why I end up talking to them. And I'll say something that's from the Bible and to give them some practical advice, because it's better advice than me. It's coming from the Bible. And they'll say, so you're telling me that, da, da, da. I said, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the Bible says, and I've made a choice to trust in that. And here's what that's meant in my life. And from what you're telling me, I think this might be able to help you. I'm not telling you anything. You telling me I can't ever drink anymore? Nope. No. It's not. Who do you think I am? No, that's not my lot in life. Just because I choose not to doesn't mean I'm going to tell you not to. I'll tell you what not drinking has meant to me and how it's changed my life. I'll be honest about that. And if you think that sounds appealing and something you might want to imitate, I'll help you gain the tools and knowledge to do that. I'm not going to judge you I'm not going to judge you harshly if you choose not to. And I'm not going to just instantly love you more because you choose not to drink. Because I'm going to have a love for you because you're you. And that's the message.
Really, aren't we attracted to those that say, but I'm going to step towards, not step away?
Yeah.
And all the facets that you love to teach. And you teach resist passivity.
Yeah.
You teach the temple, right? Taking
Taking care of the temple.
not
Yeah.
only is it physically, but it's mentally and spiritually.
Yeah.
You teach that social awareness for others hurting and having margin and time to be able to react.
Yep.
I mean, that's stepping toward.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things to step towards too. There are men that are created different than us that step towards things.
You're right.
I try to be careful with putting, God didn't tell all men to be like we are.
Right.
Yeah, and the things that we're attracted to. But you know what? The things that we are gifted in, we use.
Yeah.
I pray, Lord, that I am using.
Yeah.
And it's not sitting on the shelf.
Absolutely.
I hope I answered that correctly.
Dude, yeah, man. There is not a wrong answer. Not a wrong answer in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're good. I got some topics to discuss.
All right.
All right. Let's go through my notes.
Good.
And I love, this is kind of just to let the audience know. I asked you to send me over some thoughts.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll take his thoughts and maybe I didn't add a thing to your thoughts. This is your stuff because your stuff is freaking gold, dude.
All right.
Men in the kingdom need to reclaim the frontier spirit to, you ready? Love these words, man. These are goosebump words for me.
Right.
They need to reclaim the frontier spirit to conquer and slay.
That's right.
What's that mean to you?
So that came from our meeting,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And we were saying, okay, what do we need to do? So conquer and slay means just what we're talking about. Do you realize what COVID did? COVID gave everyone a pass.
Yeah.
In all of their life. Suicides were higher. Isolation was higher. Our economic place went down. Our structure in our household with leadership went down. How could it not when everything's telling you get a pass? And what it means, you need to conquer and slay it. You have to resist that. You need to rebuke it and take charge. So Mark Gerloff, my brother, we set standards. We said, not on my watch. This is what we're going to do. And we started seeking other men.
Yeah.
So we're going to conquer and slay. We're going to conquer and slay. We're going to not let any of that disbelief enter in our time on our watch. Not now, not ever.
That's such a good word. And you talk about that COVID time, that 2020 time, and what it did to the family structure and to leaders and things. And I fell very much prey to that. And I will be very honest, that failure of mine to operate in the conquer and slay, I used it, embarrassingly enough, like a lot of other men did, as a time to kind of punch out from those responsibilities because society and the government and circumstances told me that I could. And I let that happen in my home, and it led to the demise of my marriage. And I don't blame anybody for the demise of my marriage but me. And it's because as the leader goes, the family goes. And when the family falls apart, the leader needs to look in the mirror.
Right.
I was the leader of that family. It didn't work. So regardless of her behavior, that's not a factor. The factor is me and falling prey to that, and it won't happen again. And God taught me something so valuable and so painful that I'm like, wow, you know what? Leadership, carrying that, heavy is the crown, right? I mean, and it's a blessing to carry that, but it gets heavy, and the only way we can carry it is to be yoked to Christ.
That's right.
And I messed that up, and I'm going to man up and say I messed that up, but not again.
Yeah.
And man, what a lesson. And so what I want to do is, if I can help one other dude not do that in his family, then I'm going to keep talking into the mic. I'm going to keep writing books. I'm going to creating communities, keep on creating communities where men and other people can come together to prevent that kind of stuff and to stay on point, brother.
And we're going to be talking about some stuff since you did download that. I want men to know that that's not your identity any longer.
Yeah.
And you weren't alone. It was rampant.
Yeah, that's not who I am today.
No, it was in my family. It was in a lot of our families. It was just not who you're created to be.
No.
And you open your eyes and you go, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Because he's sly.
3 years later, I woke up and thought, ooh,
yeah, the deceiver's sly.
What? Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
And I remember kind of I felt like I was looking across the sidelines of the playing field of life and looking over at the enemy and going, okay, I didn't see it. Yeah. And you know what? the war is going to be won. But tell you what, I took a hit.
Yeah.
He hit me.
He used isolation, and then he sent you information on why COVID was man-made. We can go through
All of it. Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that, but
Yeah.
it all that did was distract you from the truth.
That's right.
God is good
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
In all seasons.
Yeah. Boy. Whew. Let's go to the next one.
All right.
Sometimes men just need a man victory. Give me an example of a man victory.
I am going to,
because I know what came to my mind. I want to see if you go the same place.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna talk about my son. So it's probably not a place you were gonna go.
Okay.
My son, wonderful young man, loves the Lord, and he was isolated, and he was at my house, and I'm like, Christian, that's not what the Johnson name stands for. And it came to me. I said, man, you just need a man victory. And a man victory is where you step up higher than you thought you could because you were telling yourself where the threshold was, and you slay it. And then we celebrate it, not for bragging or for boasting, just because you were made in his image, and you are a jewel in his crown.
Yeah.
And you need to know that. What you got for a man victory?
Man victory for me is twofold, but it's along the same path here. So as I'm looking over, because the audience isn't privy to this because the camera doesn't see it, but that's my gym. It's right offset.
Yeah.
So I chased a lot of man victories in there. I'm not saying just aesthetic things, but this week I could move more weight than those man victories are very tangible for me.
Gotcha.
But the one that's more important is when another dude that I've come alongside has asked for some help, and I've been blessed to provide him some tools that help him. And then this guy's calling me saying, you won't believe what I achieved. Now that helps me come alive, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man. So a guy will tell me, I've lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks, and I haven't been this light in 30 years. I'm like, okay. And I've put on muscle, and my wife's noticed this. And I'm like, okay, bro, that is it. And how's your relationship with the Lord? Better than ever.
Yep. That's good.
Because as you start taking care of yourself, all of a sudden things start being a little more, everything seems to start dialing in.
Walking towards the suck cycle.
It is.
I get
it is. Yep.
Yeah.
And the dude I'm talking about finishes tomorrow.
Oh.
Today's day 48. He finishes tomorrow. Mike Freeman. I'll say his name.
I love Mike Freeman.
Mike Freeman finishes tomorrow. So he'll be done when the show comes out. And I can't wait to celebrate that with him. But I'll tell you.
Done. You only completed. You got to keep going.
That's it. That's right. And I'll tell you what, this dude's 68 years old, man, and is fired up. And that fires me up.
Yeah.
So
he's a great example.
I'm going to have him on. We're going to talk about his results and what he thought of the program and the stuff that really sucked and the stuff that wasn't as sucky as he thought.
I'll bet his wife saw a big change.
Huge.
Yeah.
And the way that he relates to her, and I'll leave it for him to share this. That's been I'm like, oh, what victory is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great example of, sometimes we used to hear teaching where it's like, hey, when a man's down, he's in a hole, jump down and pick him up. No. I would always say, man, brother, if you're down, I'm going to put my arm down. I'm going to start counting 1,000, 1,000. I just need you to get up. I'll walk by you. I'm not going to carry you.
Yeah.
I'll walk by you, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm not going to pull you up the rope.
Tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not going to pull you up the rope. I'm going to give you some encouragement and tell you, I know you can climb, but you got to put your hands on this, and we're going to put one hand above the other because you can climb and you can do it.
Yeah.
But if
what climbing represents is you have 4 points of safety. You have to take one of them off.
Wow.
Understand? That's why climbing is so good.
Dude, nice analogy there. Metaphor, analogy. What did I mess that up? What the heck is that?
Jerryism.
It's better because we can't mess that up. We make up our own terms. We're always right.
Good night, folks.
Tell a friend we're here every Tuesday. We recognize church in our head and kingdom in our heart.
It's probably my favorite.
Yeah? Tell me why.
Well, how many of us have been poked by what the church does or doesn't do? Right. All the time. If we have a change in the church, we lose a percentage. The church knows it, which is so amazing. The church has done it so often. They know that if there's a pastoral or a construction or we're going to support this, we're going to we're going to lose people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are we really, we're supposed to bring our freshest and our best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. So when I think about, read it again, would you?
We recognize church in our head, kingdom in our heart.
Right. So we see a building, and I hate to say it that way, but that's what we see. We see an emotion. We have a movement from the worship, and we have a teaching that touches us, right?
Yeah.
But really, think of it this way. When you're crying out to God in your best and in your worst times, you cry out through your heart. But and that's kingdom. But when we try to get churchy, we try to receive what he's saying to us through our head, which basically means we're looking for our answer that we already created in our head. So the only way to be kingdom is to receive all of it through our heart.
Yeah.
That's what it means to me.
As I read that earlier today, it is hard to do. As I read it earlier today, and you talked about how people get bummed and leave when this happens or that happens. Why do we put a godly standard on people that work at our church? And we have this, well, they said something I didn't like, I'm leaving. Or I don't like I have to park so far away because they're redoing the parking lot. Or what? We should be a family. We should be a community. And I don't know where that we put them so elevated.
Yeah.
They're people. And that's the problem that people have with church. They don't have a problem with Jesus. They have a problem with people. Well, the church wronged me. No, it didn't. The people that are employed there may have.
It's the permission or the idea that you had what the church was going to do or not do is what wronged you.
Expectations.
Yeah, expectations.
It's all expectations, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that much out of that sermon. What? It's all this consumerism, right?
Yeah. And I've been guilty.
Oh,
I was coming off of that.
Same.
So when we were praying about that, man, Lord said, this is what you need to be. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I like it.
Some tough things to hear too.
I'm liking this stuff. You made this show easy for me. Okay. Kingdom expansion is not just church planting and adding campuses, but winning men's hearts.
Yeah.
That includes healing them and equipping them to realize their calling and purpose to expand the kingdom. Wow. Here we go.
Yeah.
Kingdom expansion. You're right. Building 3 more buildings. And okay, that might overall increase people that go there. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking it.
No, we're not knocking that.
But that's not winning men's hearts.
And we're speaking to the hours when you're not in the building.
Yes.
That's
good.
Exactly
yeah. We need to. Yeah.
So kingdom expansion is, let me back up. This came from, we were considering having just an all men's church on Wednesday. Didn't always sound right to my wife and people. When I say all men's church, I'd say, have you ever looked?
Hey everyone, Jim here. Thank you for watching the video. As a way to show my appreciation, I wanted to get you a free PDF of all 7 non-negotiables and the first week's morning devotionals from my latest book, Suck Cycle. I'm going to shoot those right over to you as soon as you text the word devotion to 402-250-7499. Thanks again, and back to the video.
Pre-COVID, you ever took a sense of how many women were in the pew and how many men? What weren't we doing always right for the men, right?
Yeah.
And so we started talking about that, and it's like, well, men are great in the field, right? We're great. We are out there. We don't mind taking on the lion.
Yeah.
We don't mind charging at the offense. We don't mind standing in the gap. And so kingdom advance is that to me.
Yeah.
It's not what's happening in that, in that building.
Yeah.
We can bring someone to church, and that's great. But who can we touch when we're getting together?
Yeah.
Who can we touch as men when we're saying, man, I see you're struggling.
Yeah.
How's your marriage? How's your, are you seeking the Lord's truth in what you're doing? Hey man, not judging your brother, but if I'm always here for you, that, being the kingdom.
The greatest thing that the church, the building, quote unquote, going to church has done for me is connecting me with other men that I spend time with, not in the building.
Right.
And knowing that, I'm going through something and I get up in the morning and there's a text message at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I was just praying about you and I know you're going through a tough time. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus, that you sent that to me. That's the kingdom. That's dudes out there in the kingdom. And I love our church and there's good messages and all that. But man, it really happens outside of the walls.
Yeah.
And what happens when I'm in the building at church, like on a Sunday, I'm fired up and ready to get out of there because that's not where the fight is.
Right.
Like to me, it's almost like halftime and I've got my pads on and stuff. And I'm like, it's necessary because we need to talk about strategy and we need to, get the game plan and equipping. But I want to get back out on the field for the second half and knock some heads.
Yeah.
The head knocking happens on the field, man.
Right.
And church to me is the halftime locker room and I'm ready to get after it.
Getting under the rack and doing your squats.
That's it, man.
Getting your cardio in. I can remember pre-COVID, my wife said, why are you on your phone? I'm like, I'm reaching out to my dudes.
Yes.
I would feel a connection. Oh, that was for you. Or I would think about my dudes and where they're at. Not all of them were my church dudes.
Yeah.
Thinking of you.
Exactly.
Sending it out, man. What's going on? And you wouldn't believe they'd say, how do you know the right time and the right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. He does. Yeah. And it's just a movement, right?
Yeah.
It's just
that's it.
Intentional. That's kingdom advance as far as
it is. And you're right.
Yeah, we talk when we say the building, the church, and that's because a lot of people covet that.
Yeah, they do.
And you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just bring your fresh engine best.
It's good.
It's the best.
Oh boy. When serving the church and its body, we have to earn the right to have a voice and not use our voice to get our rights. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you put serving instead of attending.
Yeah. Right. Be in the body, not try to manage the body.
Yeah.
Right. Give those people that are serving a platform to stand on where they know they're supported. Doesn't mean you believe everything they do is the right way.
Yeah.
Instead of, you ever been in a small group where it became a gossip?
Dude, yes.
Right.
I remember being in groups and it's 45 minutes. And all I've heard about was this person wronged me and this lady said this about that my wife and I'm just sitting there going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Have we even thought about opening a Bible? Maybe we could pray. We've been here 45 minutes. It's a men's group. What are we talking about?
Right.
Yeah. I've been in that.
Well, and this came from everything we're talking about is something I participated in a negative way.
Yeah, same.
I was losing my way.
I get that.
Lord, he shook me up.
Yeah.
And a dear brother at the same time. And it was good. Better than ever having this in our life.
I love that we have to earn the right to have our voice. And I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think I don't like the armchair quarterbacks, the critic that isn't out there on the battlefield, and you have your right to your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not attempting to be part of the positive and the solution, then maybe your opinion shouldn't be voiced.
Right.
You can have it, but is it constructive if you haven't been trying?
Right.
And that's the thing that ticks me off when I'm dealing with people as a whole is, you know what? I appreciate your criticism, but have you been in my corner and tried to help me ever? Yeah. Because I'm a lot more, it'll have more voice and more weight. Right. But the rando that wants to criticize me online, I'm like, I don't know you. You've never been in my corner in life. Why do I care that you think I'm not fit enough to post a workout? I mean, who cares what you think, bro?
Yeah. Yeah. Being a contributing person, I want to be careful. There's a lot of cliches where people say Sunday flushers thing. I don't know. I don't mean that. What I think about when I hear that is like, wow, you've not come with a feeling. You're really believing in a fact that has also some suggestions to improve. When you start lording over or spouting off opinions of what you've seen, isn't what you've experienced, because you got to go walk through it, right? Yeah. So when we walk through it, then we have a foundational truth to speak of.
Yeah.
And that's really what we were talking about. And boy, I had some words for the church.
Yeah.
I certainly did. I had my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were not right.
Because you're bold, man.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend Lee said, you do tend to just poke the bear quite a bit. I'm like, yeah.
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 Same.
Yeah. It's okay.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
What else you got on here? You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Be the power under instead of the power over.
Hmm.
Not going into the church to be the commander in chief, but
Yeah.
to serve.
To serve.
So that we keep coming back to serve,
Yeah.
right? And isn't true leadership servant leadership?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Now that bumps people.
Yeah.
Well, no, I became the leader so they would serve me. No. Then that's why you're a manager. Leaders aren't that. Managers in business, and we'll talk about the corporate world, the entrepreneurial ventures and things, but I've been both. I've been a manager and I've been a leader. And boy, you get different results being a leader.
Yeah.
And it's a more fulfilling avenue in life for sure.
Yeah. My nephew is a wonderful, wonderful man who leads. And I mean, he is courageous and he is contagious and he is boldly a leader. He would always say, I got to work harder than any of my guys. And I agree with that, but we also want to work smarter, right?
Yeah.
When we're the leader, because we, not only are we working hard with them, we're up nights protecting where it's going, right? And that's what I think our church does. You know, I believe they're petitioning to our Father
constantly. Same.
To lead us well.
I agree with that. That's a good word. Tend to your wife's garden.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next one after that is was really enlightening. Well, this is going to be tough for me. This is going to be really raw for me.
All right, I'm going to take a drink and prepare.
Yeah, I think I will.
Let's settle in with our water.
Into my wife's garden.
Let's go. Your wife is an amazing lady. It's been awesome meeting her. And
yeah, Nancy is beautiful. Hi, babe. I would be this guy. I'd say, I'm glad you enjoy worship and you like going to different events, but it's not for me. And it was for her.
Yeah.
That was her garden. And I had a tendency in through the isolation to start saying, you don't understand. You don't have to do these things. What do you mean? God gave her to me so I would do those things so she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But when I started bringing those up and talking about different things about feelings. If I rode that feelings versus facts into the ground when I talked about our spiritual relationship, and it wore her out. And she was good to me, but enough was enough. And so attending to my wife's garden means giving her the place to be free and to lead from her position. My wife leads from a position of, her phone is full of alarms that go off where she prays for people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love that.
She stands in the gap.
Yeah.
She's up before me. She enables me to go and do the crazy wrong way, run into walls, break things that I do every day.
Yeah.
And she puts them back together.
Yeah.
So that's attending to her garden.
Yeah. Yeah. See into her needs and understanding where she's coming from, and that it doesn't have to line up with yours all the time or any of the time.
I'm so glad I didn't marry me.
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it right there.
The next part. Yeah.
So I have the emphasis of church being the hours we're not in the building.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Can we go back to that garden?
Yeah, go.
So there was one piece that didn't come in with that. I don't know why.
Oh, go.
But it says, men, remember, you may want a garden that has a great harvest, right? That produces abundant amount of fruit. But your wife might be looking for that one flower that blesses that one soul.
Yeah.
And so that comes from me going, can't we do this faster, better, more strategic?
Yeah. Hey, I have a more efficient way to accomplish what you're trying to get done.
Where's your journal on what did we do last year?
Yeah.
And she's like, but you've never mentioned how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
And
that hits me. That hits me pretty good because
was the one I said, okay, I need.
Yeah, that one messes me up pretty good because with Allie, Allie's smarter than me. and I love how her mind works. But it's way different than mine. And I find myself as she's solving a problem, and I can see that the problem is being solved, and it's kind of cool to watch. For some reason, I have to think, hey, even though you're solving that problem, I might be able to show you a different way.
Yeah. Oh,
Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nonsensical. That's not tending to her.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Knucklehead.
I know. Because I'm a guy that says, well, if I'm going to the basement, what can I take with me?
Yeah.
And I might
Yeah.
bring it up. Just little stuff.
Yeah.
But look, being with Jerry Johnson, none of us little stuff, and it's all the time. So trying to ratchet that back.
Same.
Yeah.
No, I got it, man.
Yeah.
There's the notes. I like that stuff. Thank you for all that. You know what I want to transition into is I want to know, because I don't even have all of them down. If someone would ask me everything that Jerry does, I want to know what your businesses are and tell me about each one and how long you've been doing it. And I want the audience to know how to get a hold of you. And then any links or anything that you have that you can get, websites or whatever, I'll put them in the show notes so they can go down and click on those and go see your stuff. And I'm happy to help you.
Yeah. Spent 14 years in a managerial corporate sales trainer position at Nebraska French Mart.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I did that for quite a while. And Lord was telling me, man, you got to go. My family needed me to go because I worked electronics. So you were the fourth quarter, which would be.
So Christmas time.
I didn't see it. Matter of fact, I didn't like it. It was horrible. So I left there and was really blessed to be recruited into the mortgage business. And after 3 years, went on my own, and we called it Pillar Financial Mortgage. You'll probably find us now with Pillar Mortgage because we dropped the financial. We picked up the financial because we believed that a house wasn't a privilege. It was just one of the other responsibilities in stewardship. So we called it that. That wasn't always popular, but from a standpoint of just being so many emails about financial planning and all that, so we had to change that up a little bit, and really blessed to walk through that, help a lot of people. I do love doing that. I have some great people that have been with me 7 years, 11 years, 12 years.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the reward.
Yep. And I won't get into all that, but that we do that. And as everyone's experiencing right now, there's an ebb and flow. Rates go up like that. You can wake up and you go, what do you mean my rate's 7%? What happened to
Don't I know it?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And the price of a home. So what that does is it really puts a strangle on your market. And so you see banks get rid of the mortgage divisions, right?
Yeah.
They still have a banking division. Well, we are expert in mortgages. So when we knew that was coming, I went to my nephew I love dearly, and we'd done some other things together. And we said, why don't we start a roofing, siding, windows, and gutters company? And so we said, well, let's call it Pillar. We had someone come in and help us with the names, and they said, well, you got the best. Go with Pillar. That's what we are.
Yeah.
So we have Pillar.
Dance with who brung you, brother.
Yeah, so we have Pillar Exteriors, and we do that, and we're just getting ready to open a second office in Iowa, your hometown.
In Missouri Valley?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
We just poured 96 yards of concrete a week ago, so that building's.
I love that.
So transitioning there. So that's Pillar Mortgage and Pillar Exteriors, and besides that, in that friendship brotherhood with my nephew, I said, we started talking about getting some land and getting off the grid a little bit.
Yeah.
So now, we have the 60 acres.
I do.
And we've got geothermal greenhouses. One of the requirements for the land was that it had not had a plow or chemicals on it. So as far as we know, it hadn't anything in over 50 years.
Wow.
So our dirt's good. We've got 5 greenhouses. We've got a retail store there. And are we good at it? No. We have so much to learn. But boy, my nephew has championed 95% of it. He's just been taking it on, and
how cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He owns Creative Structures. They build fantastic pools, and I watch him just make people's dreams come true. He's a great man.
I love that.
Great family. And we're almost entirely family at all three companies.
Oh, great, man.
So it's been good.
See, that's walking it out, man. That's living the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So give us a call. You need anything?
Yeah. So
If you don't, it isn't something that we do, give us a call.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I'm going to get the links. We'll put the links in the show notes. Anybody can reach out to me too, because I mean, I know how to get a hold of you. But there's nothing better than doing business with people that do business the right way and that you can trust, especially with money.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was going to tell you one thing I appreciate is the Lord, in spite of everything that I didn't do well, he sent me people that do well.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. And that's
Same.
It isn't about what you do. It's about letting those people
Yeah.
that do things very well do.
That's a great word. That's leadership.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you know if you're a leader or not.
Yeah.
What kind of people do you have that are pulling on the rope with you? And man, you do it right. You're an inspiration.
Well, thank you.
And this has been fun, dude. We're just under an hour. That goes pretty quick.
It does.
So yeah, we can wrap up. I appreciate it. I love your thoughts on manhood. Anybody can reach out to us. I'm happy to, I'm at Real Jim Motes on Instagram, Jim Motes on Facebook, and people know how to get a hold of me. Do you have an Instagram or anything that you're active on? You don't jack with that stuff much?
I got a phone. Always call me.
Yeah, there you go. And I can get you Jerry's number. So that's all we got, man. We're going to finish up, and I appreciate you. Until next time. Hey, everybody. You stuck around till the very end of the video. And you know what that says about you? It says you're different. It says you're not average, and it says you see things through to the end, and I appreciate that. As a way to say thanks, I'm going to give you my personal cell number, and I want you to text the word closer to 402-250-7499. And don't be sharing that number with people. It's between you and me. Now, after I receive that from you, I'm going to reach out to you personally so we can connect. I appreciate all you do for us, and thanks again.